Hi, kindergarten. Today we're starting a brand new unit. We learned about plants in our last unit. You learned about things like photosynthesis, seeds, and we even drew a sunflower. Well, today we're starting our new unit about seasons and weather. And today's lesson is called, What's the Weather Like? So we're going to really quickly review some vocabulary and then we're going to get started. So, the very first thing I wanted to show you was this calendar. So, remember that we can think about time in a lot of different ways. So, today's date is actually Thursday, and it is Thursday, February 18th. So, if you look right here, you can see the number 18 in the month of February and the year of 2021. But today is Thursday, and when we think about a week, we actually have Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. That makes up a week. How many days is that? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 7 days in a week. Now, there are actually also multiple weeks in each month. So if you notice, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. There are about 4 weeks in every month. And this again is the month of February because that's what we're in right now. Now 4 weeks make up a month and it's 12 months in our year, and we know our month song. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. Those are the months in the year, and right now we are in February. So within those 12 months, we also have something called seasons. There are 4 different seasons, and you learned about that a little bit when we talked about plants and deciduous trees losing their leaves. But do you remember what the seasons are? We have winter, that's where we're right now, spring, summer, and autumn or fall. Now this month right here is winter. We are in winter. Next up we'll have spring. But let's go ahead and do our vocabulary. Kitten just jumped and he made me jump. Our first word is characteristics. Characteristics are ways we can describe a group of people or things. So this cat has white and gray fur. She has green and yellow eyes. Those are some of her characteristics. Our next word is cycle. Cycle are events that happen over and over again in the same order. So like the seasons happen every year in the same order. Patterns are things that repeat themselves over and over again. So here you have a pattern that's green, white, green, white, green, white. We have our seasons, which we've talked about. Winter, spring, summer, fall. And we have weather. Now, weather is the temperature and other outside conditions at a particular time and place. Could be sunny, partly cloudy, rainy, snowy, stormy. There are so many different things that could be happening outside our windows, and we call that the weather. Okay, now I'm really excited for us to get reading on today's lesson. This is a picture of a girl named Anne, and she is in Washington, D.C. In the next several read-alouds, you're going to be hearing letters from a pretend pen pal, and a pen pal is a friend that you write letters to and from, but maybe you don't see in person. And you're going to be talking to Anne, who lives in Washington, D.C. Sometimes we might call her Annie. Now, remember, Washington, D.C., where we live, is the capital of our country, the United States of America. Washington, D.C. is where the president, Joe Biden, lives and works. Can you look out the window and tell us what it looks like outside? How would you describe the weather? How do you think the weather is right now? Are we near or far where Anne lives? Well, we're really near because we also live in Washington, D.C. Now, Not everyone in the United States has the same weather on any given day. So the weather where you live might even be different from the weather where I live, right? Sometimes it's snowy in one area and in another area, maybe it will be rainy. Or if you've been down to Florida, it's always sunny down there. But Anne is going to tell us about the seasons and weather in her hometown of Washington, D.C. Okay, I hope you are ready. Listen up to learn the names of the 4 seasons of the year and to learn about different places on Earth that have different types of weather. Hello, my name is Annie, and I live in a big city called Washington, D.C., and I'm in 5th grade. But I remember when I was in kindergarten just like you. Right now in school, my class is learning about seasons and weather. For my school project, I'm going to be your weather pen pal. I'm going to teach you what the weather is like where I live. I'll also tell you about the weather in different areas or places on Earth. You can help me with my project by answering all my questions so I can learn about what the seasons and weather are like where you live. There are many different kinds of weather. There's sunny weather, cloudy weather, windy weather, rainy weather, and stormy weather. What's the weather like outside today where you live? My teacher says that no matter where you live on Earth, the weather is always changing, hour by hour and day by day. That means the weather never stays the same. But even though the weather changes, there are still weather patterns during certain times of year. For example, the weather pattern in the summer is mostly sunny and warm. Weather patterns may change a lot in some places and very little in other places. It all depends on where you live on Earth. This is a map of the Earth. I've colored 2 areas on the map blue. One is at the North Pole and one is at the South Pole. Even though the North and South Poles are at opposite ends of the Earth from each other, they share the same weather patterns. The weather patterns at the North and South Poles is always cold, and the land is usually covered by ice. This is the South Pole, which is located on the continent of Antarctica. It's one of the coldest places on Earth. The ground is covered by ice all year long, though it almost never rains or snows here. The wind can be strong, and the temperature is freezing cold. I've colored the middle area of this map red. The weather and pattern in this area is usually very warm all year long. The biggest change in the weather during different times of the year is the amount of rain. During certain months in the rainforest, the day may start off warm and sunny, but by afternoon it may rain very, very hard. This weather pattern occurs almost every day. This area gets lots of rain and sun almost year-round. The rain and sun keep the plants and trees green and healthy. Do you see this part of the map that's covered green? This is most of the United States, the country where we live. Most of the United States is on the continent of North America. Remember, we talked about North America, South America. You know the song. So most of the United States is on the continent of North America, although the state of Hawaii is made up of islands located in the Pacific Ocean. In most of the United States, it's not always cold, like at the North and South Poles, and it's not always hot, like in the middle section of the Earth. The weather in most of the United States changes with every season, so we get cold weather, hot weather, and everything in between. There are 4 seasons in a year. We have winter, spring, summer, and autumn. Each season has different weather, so the weather in the United States changes depending on where you live and which season it is. Plants, trees, and flowers change in different seasons. You will also see different kinds of animals in different seasons. This image shows the season called winter. Winter is the coldest season. In some places, snow and ice cover the ground during wintertime. Other places that do not have snow or ice are still colder in the winter than in other seasons. Some animals, like bears, sleep during the winter season. Eventually, winter ends and spring begins. In spring, the sun shines a little longer and warmer each day, which melts the ice and snow. In spring, new leaves appear on the trees, new plants grow up from the warming earth, and flowers bloom again. Many baby animals are born during the spring, too. After the spring comes summer. Summer is the hottest season of the year in the United States. Summer is the season in which all the plants are at their greenest, full of leaves, flowers, and fruit. Birds, bugs, and other animals are easiest to spot in the summer. And finally, after summer comes autumn. Autumn is also called fall in most places in the United States. The leaves change colors and fall off certain types of trees in autumn. The air outside gets cooler and the sun shines a little less each day. Autumn is when farmers harvest their fruits and vegetables, birds fly south, and everyone gets ready for winter. Let's say the seasons together. Winter, spring, summer, and autumn. Do you know what season it is right now where you live? How do you know? It's winter. Each season has its own special characteristics. For example, a characteristic of summer is hot weather, and a characteristic of winter is snow. The seasons are different depending on where you live. Not all places get snow in the winter, and not all places are steaming hot in the summer. But one thing for sure, no matter where you live, the seasons always change in the same order year after year. When something happens over again and over again in the same order, it's called a cycle. So every year, the cycle of the seasons begins in winter, followed by spring, summer, autumn, and back to winter. I'll be talking about my hometown, Washington, D.C., a lot in my letters, but the characteristics of the 4 seasons might be a little bit different depending on where you are. It'll be fun to see if your weather is different from mine. I'll say goodbye for now, but I'll write again soon. Until then, I hope you're enjoying beautiful weather where you live. Your friend, Annie. I hope you liked that letter. Go ahead and click on the exit ticket below. See you later, kindergarten.